Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
I am so impressed. I had no idea.
People residing in those countries have listened, and it's a little crazy to think about that, but we love it, and we're so grateful and so appreciative.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobbi and I have put on our formal attire as we wrap up 2024 on this very special edition of the Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Bobbi, you're looking dynamite on this very special episode. It's a formal occasion, I guess, as we wrap up the year and we talk about some of our favorite moments from the Making Waves podcast in 2024.
Yeah, everybody kind of likes to reflect after their year and, you know, we're going to have a little fun in doing it, or maybe something that really stood out for us or our listeners in general. So, hey, let's have a good time.
Yeah, let's have a little bit of fun. So I thought we would start, Bobbi, and this is not a countdown style. We just wanted to highlight some of our favorite moments. So there's no competition here, so no wagering, please. This is just,
And this doesn't mean we won't ask you back if you didn't make it.
Exactly. And if you did not make our highlights from the year, please don't take that as a slight. We loved all our guests and everybody. We had a great time. But our first clip that we wanted to bring up was one of our more important moments of the year, I think. And we had this discussion with some lovely, talented voiceover ladies, and it was on our Women of Color episode of the Making Waves VO podcast, and we talked about authenticity and what's cool. Let's take a listen. What's the future hold for you, Rebecca? Like, what are you expecting to see on the horizon in terms of opportunities?
That's a good question. I am sort of pessimistic. So I think that people jump on a bandwagon and then jump to the next thing that is cool. So while I'm enjoying this and I think it's beautiful, and I do think that the industry won't ever be able to go back to completely white male only. Like you can't erase this momentum that's been made. But I do think that probably other topics will become trendy. For example, now we've got a lot of casting for non-binary and things like that. And I just think that that's going to be the next wave. And then I'm not sure what the next wave is. I mean, I'm being LGBT myself from this community, I am a lesbian. And so I'm looking and excited when I see things like that, when I see them asking for authentic this or authentic that. So I think that there'll be still space for me and progress for me to move in one way or another, to move upward, because, again, representation and authenticity. But I just don't know. Like, I'm kind of also looking at just watching and seeing, okay, is this going to drop out and is something else going to take to be the interesting thing, the buzzword, the cool thing to be, or the thing that's getting the job? Or am I virtue signaling somehow with my company by saying that, hey, I hired this? I don't know. So that's where I fall. I can't wait to hear from the other ladies, because I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I do anticipate, at least until AI takes everything down, being able to kind of just stay as relevant as possible, and within that, my own skill set, keeping that sharp and just kind of staying abreast of what's going on. And between that and being Black and gay, honey, hopefully something. hopefully I stay cool long enough to make a nice long career of this. We'll see.
And female.
Right. There we go.
But don't you love it, ladies, that finally the casting people are saying, you have to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Black. Before there were people imitating it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Right.
They still are, though.
Yeah, they still
there's
are.
still a lot
Especially
of that
in the
going on,
animation thing. I mean, you can't fault the actors for that, but there's still people there doing the accents, even though it's not authentic. So it comes from up top.
There you go, Bobbi. That was a compelling moment, I would say, and a moment that certainly needed to be addressed and discussed.
Yeah, Rebecca Lee, of course, was the first voice. Nazia Chaudhry was in there, and Yenny Alvarez. It made for a very compelling episode. And boy, yeah, I hope it's improved even more for them since we recorded that.
Yeah, and that was one of our earlier in the year podcasts. That was from January of 2024.
Hi, hello, greetings, salutations, howdy. This is Rob Reed, Austin-based voice actor, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell.
Bobbi, what's our next moment that we'd like to highlight as one of our favorite moments from 2024?
Oh, it's interesting. We're probably going to be seeing this a bit in our choices here because Rebecca did mention AI in there briefly. And in this next one, we talked to a huge figure in the voiceover industry, not only one of the co-founders of Nava, but she is killing it in bookings and puts on her own voiceover conference. We're talking about Karin Gilfrey, and she mentions AI voices and 11 Labs. I noticed that you have an AI bank. It was, with Vocal ID?
Yeah, yes.
Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean...
Can you embellish on it a little bit more?
Okay, so I used to tell voice actors, it's really good to have just a synthetic version of your voice ready to go for whatever someone might need it for. But that was until about a year ago when 11 Labs came out with their public-facing voice clone option that they have, which is for $5 a month, you can upload a very short audio file and create a very believable synthetic version of your voice. And it's very professional sounding. Since that happened, I really don't think there's any need for someone to have a synthetic version of their voice ready to go, because all of us have a synthetic version of our voice ready to go. You just have to create a profile on 11 Labs and pay $5 a month. Now,
Oh, wow.
11 Labs, they are kind of the best and the worst of the synthetic voice companies because they are the company that people use most often for deepfakes and nefarious reasons because they're so easy to use. But also 11 Labs, we've been talking to their CEO. Nava has been talking to their CEO and people from their team almost from the very beginning last year when they released their product to the public. They are very interested in hearing what we have to say. They're very interested in doing the right thing. They're also very interested in, that kind of move fast and break things mentality that Silicon Valley and those kinds of folks have. But I trust them more than some other companies because we have a direct line to them. I know that I can call their CEO or Tim can be in contact with their CEO, immediately if there's something that happens. And I know that they want to put security measures in place at some point to make it so that you can't just clone anyone's voice. They haven't done it yet. I don't know when they will do it, but it seems like something that might be on the horizon for them.
Isn't it crazy thinking about that?
Mm-hmm.
And we 3 or 4 years ago when we first started hearing talk about AI, and maybe even longer than that, we're determined to fight it. But now maybe we can monetize it and let it be a source of passive income.
It's becoming a bigger and bigger subject every day in this industry. So, that would be fantastic, especially as we age, or if we are on vacation, or we become, unable to record for some reason. So, that's a good thought.
Yeah, some good thoughts. Let's continue and talk about our other favorite moments from the 2024 season of the Making Waves VO podcast. And I want to go to a clip that features the Building Doors campaign. Now, your friend and our friend of the podcast, Christy Harst, and that's how you say her last name, right? Harst?
Yes.
Spearheaded this campaign. And Bobbi, if you would, before we get into the clip, could you explain a little bit of what, from your point of view, what the Building Doors campaign is?
Sure. Christy she puts her heart and soul into this project, and I'll tell you more about how it's even gotten bigger since this recording. But she's always been a big sports fan. And she lives in the Cleveland area, has tried getting voice work with the Browns or other area teams for a long time, and has auditioned for some sports-related thing and just didn't seem like she was getting any traction. So she decided to kind of form a collective group of female voices and make it more of a mission as a group. And so she started it by every week would release a female voicing what would normally be a male's ad, whether it be a sports team or whether it be like a Home Depot. And so every week in 2024, she would introduce a new voice. And that's how it got going. And like I said, it's been building and building. No pun intended there, or pun intended. But this particular episode was just like, whoo! I mean, it didn't get. I wouldn't say it got heated, but it definitely made you look at it as a bigger picture.
Yeah, for sure. Let's listen to a clip with Christy chatting with producer Harry Dunn about this very subject.
I actually started building doors because I was very frustrated after 3-4 years of focusing a lot of my attention to trying to voice for male-dominated sports. And I participated in a workshop that was led by a pretty big promo agent in our industry. And they told me basically, when I asked them point blank, what are my chances? What are my chances of voicing a promo for the NFL, MLB? And they were pretty honest. They were like, not so much. There are opportunities, but the opportunities have basically gone from 0 to 1. And there just isn't really a door to even knock on, let alone kick in. And so I became really frustrated. What have I been doing for the past 3 to 4 years? Why have I been working with producers, demo producers like Harry, and coaching with him? And why have I been working so hard at this if the opportunities aren't even there? So that's why I decided to start the Building Doors campaign. And I'm featuring women just like me who are passionate about male-dominated sports and brands and think that our voice could be a perfect fit for their brand messaging. And so far, we are getting some good traction.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that story, Bobbi.
Yeah, and she opened it up about a month or two ago to even more women. I think we probably have 40 to 50 women in Building Doors now. I do know that one female voice talent did hire from the campaign. She saw it on social media, or they saw it on social media and contacted this voiceover directly. And so we're really excited about moving forward. Like I said, Christy is just doing amazing things with this. So it's very cool.
Yeah, that is super cool. And if you can go check out the episode, all these are housed on Podbean or Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And Harry Dunn, producer Harry Dunn, who produces promos, was also a featured guest on that one. And he offered some insight from the other side of the glass and, what he's been doing over the years and what he's seen over the years. And he talks about trends and different things like that. So it's a very, very compelling episode to check out if you want to check out the entire thing.
Well worth your time if you missed it the first time when it was first released. I like I said, one of my favorites. So Check it out. You don't want to miss what's next. Making Waves returns momentarily.
This is Tracy Thibodeau, and you've got the best VO podcast in all the land right here. The Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin and Bobbi. Enjoy.
We love our friends, Bobbi, at Full Compass, and this is the best time of the year to save some moolah on stuff you might need for the studio, and not only save money, but get some peace of mind too, right?
Well, I love that they have their experts there that will talk with you about the equipment that you might need, or will go into more details on what a particular piece of equipment can do. I mean, you're seeing all the sales for the, Amazon and Facebook Marketplace, but it's a great opportunity to talk to somebody and be assured that this is the right product for you and you're going to get a low price guarantee.
And I've worked with the folks at Full Compass. I've purchased things from them, and my customer service experience has been second to none. Nobody's better at the customer service game than Full Compass. Also, they have the biggest and best names in our audio world.
Yeah, we're talking Shure, Sennheiser, Neumann, Focusrite, all great products that people in the voiceover industry have been using successfully for years. I mean, Full Compass has been around for a long time. They know this stuff. They're a family business, and you are their priority, that you get the right equipment for the job you're doing.
Log on to fullcompass.com. If you want, search the deals page. There are some amazing deals going on right now. Check them out. Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
And now, back to Making Waves.
Tim Friedlander was a guest. He is, of course, the other half of the NAVA Foundation, or whatever you want to call it. They got together and brought us NAVA, which has been amazing for the whole industry. And Karen and Tim, and I believe Matt Parham, also went to Washington to stand up for our voice artists' rights. And Tim spoke about this in the episode that we're talking about.
Yeah. I think we started out trying to advocate for voice actors very specifically, and that's still very much our goal. I think we've learned that this is not just an art, not just a voice actor concern, but a general creative artist concern in this country, or in the world, really. But yeah, our focus has definitely been on voiceover. And we went to DC. We've gone to DC twice now, once in the fall of last year, and then once again a few weeks ago, to speak specifically about two bills that are up. When we went in the fall, we were speaking about just general concerns about voice actors that we as voice actors have in regards to new emerging technology that is out there. And then this time around, we were there very specifically to discuss our support of two bills, which is the No AI Frauds Act and the No AI Fraud Act and the No Fakes Act, which are one bill in the House and one in the Senate, which, amongst other things, would specifically address making voice an intellectual property right, which is something that currently does not exist on a federal level. We as voice actors or anybody with recorded audio has a variety, because patchwork of state laws, right of publicity, biometric laws, data privacy laws, but nothing that specifically allows us to own the rights to our voice, to the sound of our voice, which is what we're advocating for.
Isn't that funny, Bobby, that it's not until now that it's been even a concept that we would have intellectual property ownership over our own voice. It's never been a thing until now.
I know.
It's remarkable to think about that.
Someone was just talking about this in a conversation I had this past weekend, and they said that the only state where you own the rights to your voice is Tennessee. Were you aware of this?
Well, Tennessee just passed it.
Yeah, with the Elvis Presley thing, correct?
Yep. Yeah. I thought, I think they even called it like the Elvis Law or something like
that.
Yeah.
That one slid by me. I had no idea.
Well, they did it because of music.
Right, exactly.
Of course. But it would spill over to voice, for voice actors, just the spoken word rather than singing. So
yeah, I did want to mention that I in a conversation I also had this weekend, I was talking about Matthew Parham was at one of those Washington meetings, and he said their hope now with a new administration in Washington is that they can keep this going and it won't be forgot about, because there are other agendas that will have a priority. So let's hope that it keeps moving.
Yeah, very cool. We're going to go to our next clip, but I want to do a little tease. This is an official tease. I'm going to break down some of our podcast numbers after this clip. And when I say podcast numbers, I want to cover some of the countries that are listening to the Making Waves VO podcast.
What?
Many of them will surprise you. So that's coming up after this clip from Katie Lee. Katie Lee is a dear friend, and I've known Katie since probably 2008 or 2009. I hired her, Bobbi, way back in the day to do some animated voice character work things. And Katie's on the podcast, and Katie and we've just, friends, and we've hit it off, and we chat, several times a year. Certainly at conferences and events, we get a chance to hang out and catch up like that. But we had a chance to have her on the podcast. And Katie Lee is one of the OG animation voices, and she's been doing this a long time. And she's super talented. And she knows a lot about the business that we're in. And on this episode of the Making Waves VO podcast, she talks about ageism and authenticity.
Well, it's not about the voice, actually. I've aged out because my thinking is as old as I am. That's more the issue. It's not my tone, it's the way I talk and the way I... Yeah, my patterns of speech are not whatever this next generation is, if I...
So you don't have vocal fry?
I can do that. Well, I can do the vocal fry, but that's not it. It's not it. It's a whole different kind of... Like when I hear my daughter talk, and she's even in her 30s, I don't talk like that. So,
yeah, I get that.
So I've aged out in that respect.
What's your opinion on ageism, Katie?
Well, I don't like it.
Is it prevalent in VO?
I think it only is in that, it depends what people want. If they want something different, they're going to not want somebody who's already, produced a lot of stuff, right? They're always looking for new talent. And the sad thing is, I don't think it's ageism on purpose. But look, you recognize the things that you just played for me, right? But there's a whole bunch of people who have no idea what it is, and those are the people who are hiring and have jobs, now, doing that, writing and hiring. So they don't care about old or people, they don't have it. They don't say, oh, if they were fans. Yeah, but if they don't know, they don't know, so it doesn't impress them, okay? For sure. It's not ageism, as that they want everything to be more authentic, right? That's the word. Yeah. So why hire me? Just because I can kind of sound like I'm 8 years old. It's going to sound better if they can hire a real kid, and they'll do it because they can now.
Yeah, it's an interesting world we live in terms of that, where, 25, 30 years ago, Bobbi, you could just hire an adult to play a kid, hire a white person to play a black person, or vice versa, and it didn't matter. We didn't think in those terms of, is it right? Is it wrong? So now, like Katie was just saying, it's authenticity. So it may not necessarily be ageism, but it's the authenticity factor.
And that pours over into getting representation these days because, so many talents of whatever, color, religion, whatever, your accent are being signed now. So if you've ever held back thinking, well, this agent's never going to sign me, do it. You never know what they're looking for on their rosters. So she's so wise. I just love that episode.
She is. She's awesome. Well, let's talk about some numbers from the podcast from 2024. It's kind of fun to see where in the world people are listening and checking us out. 85.81% of our listeners are from the United States.
Okay.
And that makes perfect sense. 6.1% are from Canada. 2% are from the United Kingdom.
Okay, I expected that.
1.5% come from New Zealand.
Interesting.
1.05% are in China, Bobbi.
I love it. I love it.
Now, all of these countries I'm about to mention have listened to us in 2024. They just have fractions of points, though. They have, dozens to hundreds of listens, though. Let me just run them down real quick.
Okay.
Indonesia, Brazil, Germany, Portugal, Hong Kong, Australia, Greece, Spain, Japan, Finland, Chile, Chilby. Just kidding. Mexico, Switzerland, Italy, Costa Rica, India, Romania, Thailand, France, Denmark, Ireland, the Netherlands, Russia, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, Argentina, Bangladesh, Ecuador, South Korea, Luxembourg, Morocco, Nicaragua, Serbia, Slovakia. Slovakia, Bobbi.
I am so impressed. I had no idea.
People residing in those countries have listened, and it's a little crazy to think about that, but we love it, and we're so grateful and so appreciative.
I didn't even think Canada. I don't know why. I thought the UK would be higher than Canada, but it makes sense. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
But that's so cool. And how do you get that information? Is it from one of our?
Yeah, from Podbean.
Okay.
You know, they're our official host, and so they're able to provide data and, you know, show me different things, you know, what's going on with the podcast and different things like that. And, you know, I'm pretty excited that recently we hit 30,000 on our download count, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, we've got tens of thousands for this year already, or for 24.
I think that we have some homework in 2025. I think every episode we should give a shout out to somebody that listened to the previous one, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like
a great thought.
When Casey Kasem used to do the so-and-so's listening in. That was
we would
bad,
like
Casey.
to say a special salutations to Gern in Slovakia. Thank you for listening, Gern, and good luck on your VO journey.
Thank you. I knew you could come up with that.
What's our next favorite moment from 2024, Bobbi?
This one was, honestly, I've not listened back to this. I'm gonna tell you this because
What?
I was there in the moment, and we weren't sure how the audio quality would go, so I was afraid to listen. And I say we, Kevin, myself, vocal actress Heather Bell, and Jessica Holton were invited by Kevin to go out on his boat. What's the name of the lake? Hickory? Old Hickory?
Old Hickory.
Yeah. And said, let's just do a podcast on the water. And we actually found a kind of a quiet cove, and just Kev brought his equipment and set up a couple of mics, and we just kind of, like you always say, we kept it organic. We just let it flow. It was fun.
So here we are, the Making Waves VO podcast, and we are making some real waves, yo, right in the middle of Old Hickory Lake, just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Bobbi's here. Bobbi, please tell the people you're here so I don't sound like a clown.
We just had a really nice dinner with our VO friends. Heather, what's your name?
We are here.
Stephanie.
So we are literally on Old Hickory Lake, just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And we're here with Heather Bell and Jessica Holton, fellow voice actors from the Nashville area. Welcome to the Making Waves VO podcast, ladies.
615 representing.
Yeah, 615 in the house.
Lake Edition.
So that's that clip, Bobbi. You could tell because I kind of introed us twice that, you know, we were already a couple of drinks in, but had a good time. That was so unique and fun. I love doing that. And our friend Jordan Reynolds sent a note and it's like, dude, you're freaking me out having your equipment out there on the lake like that.
Yeah, really. and Kev, that audio sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. You know, a little bit of room tone, a little bit of lake tone there that you could pick up, but no, that was the idea. You know, I just wanted everything to, you know, be real and capture the sounds of the waves and the boat running and, you know, anything else. So
I think
that was a lot of fun.
Didn't Melissa Disney and K-Best say they want to be on episode 2 of Life on the Lake?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have to do it again next summer. And if, you know, that'd be cool if Melissa was in town. Kay's living in town now, and she's down. So, yeah, we'll have to do it again. Don't go anywhere. The Making Waves VO podcast returns in a moment.
What's up? This your boy Trey Mosley. And this is the Making Waves VO podcast with Double K, Kevin Kilpatrick, and my girl, Bobbi Maxwell. Give a listen, y'all.
As a voice actor, you want to focus on what's important, right? Like pulling off the perfect read. You don't want to stress about tech stuff. That's why Full Compass is in your corner. With 50 years experience in pro audio, Full Compass has everything we voice actors need. Mics, headphones, monitors, mixers, interfaces, DAWs, all the goodies. And their certified product experts help with everything they sell. Plus, you can get free same-day shipping, flexible financing, and a low price guarantee. See it all at fullcompass.com. Fullcompass.com. They know VO.
Now back to the podcast.
So, Bobbi, up next, we're going to talk with our good friend Linda Bruno. Linda is a voice actor. She's a coach. She runs a studio, and she does all the things in the voiceover world, and she's been doing it since the early 2000s. And she's a friend of the podcast, friend of ours. And we had some fun moments with her earlier in the year when we talked about when Linda was hired to sing a song to be recorded and produced and distributed, but she'd never recorded with this guy before, and it just so happened to be in a guy's basement in Miami. What could go wrong? Do you hear that?
No!
Yes.
No!
Hang
we
on.
can't hear it. No. No.
Hang on.
Oh, God.
Studio 54?
Oh, God. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Linda Bruno, circa 1990, what?
2, I think.
92?
92, 93.
Are you singing? Is that you singing?
Yes.
That's her on this dance remix of What You Won't Do for Love, Bobby.
My God.
Here we
That's
go.
right.
It's the
Do it
Deep
again, do it
Waves dub mix. Oh, yeah.
This is straight out of Miami.
Yeah.
92.
I can see your hair teased and having like leg warmers on and stuff like that.
But think about how stupid I was, because it was a friend of a friend who had a record company, and he was like, "Do you want to come to my basement and record something?"
Yeah, that sounds legit, but it actually did end up being legit, obviously, because Linda is still on this earth and she recorded the song well.
Exactly. That was a fun episode. You can tell you guys are good friends. You just
it's you never know what we VO people are going to do, where we came from, our past, and different things like that. And Linda, she was just kind of throwing stuff at the wall to see what stuck, and she had a little radio career. She'd done voiceover, and she was also a singer, and the voiceover stuck. The singing, even though she's talented at that, she didn't make a career out of that, obviously. But she
sounded good. She sounded real good.
She sounded really good, and that was the Miami '90s party sound. And, it's just neat hearing that story about her going to sing in some random dude's basement in Miami, and they made a song out of it.
Oh my gosh! Well, one episode I think for both of us stands out from all 52 this past year. You surprised me first. We were supposed to just be doing a, catch-up, organic podcast. And then, of course, this is like the third time this year Kevin has surprised me with a guest. And it was our dear friend, Bridget Reel. And it was hilarious. Hilarious. I still laugh thinking about, we talked about so much in that episode, but something in particular, I don't even know how we got on the subject. How to make brownies and that douchebag Dion.
I figured out how to do brownies. You just you simmer all of that stuff in oil, and then you strain it, or butter, and then you use the butter or oil in the brownie mix, not the frickin' seeds and stems and.
You can saute flour. If you take the seeds and stems and everything out, you can saute the flour in like butter or coconut oil or something like that. Yes, you can do that. And then add all of that whole thing too.
I dumped it all in there, Bridget.
Oh my.
It was so disgusting.
Oh my.
And douchebag Dion has never made that mistake again.
So Bobbi, that was excellent. Recalled. What you don't hear is on that clip is I got called douchebag Dion by accident, right, Bobbi?
How was that? Can you bring it back to me again? I was laughing so hard about the brownies.
Oh, there at the end. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go to that little clip there at the end when you pop back in.
And douchebag Dion has never made that mistake again.
Okay. We were calling you. I thought somebody else called you.
No. You were calling me that because it was uncovered on that episode that my middle name is Dion.
Yes. And I didn't know that, but I called you douchebag Dion. It's all coming back to me now.
That was one of the more fun episodes of the year, that's for sure. So if y'all want to check that out, let me see if I can find that one really, really quick. And
I still can't believe that's your middle name.
Oh, come on. Yeah, now that one was released on November 22nd. So go back and check, those that want to check that one out. It's one of our favorite episodes of the year, for sure.
She's a nut.
Yeah, Bridget, she brings out the naughty side of us, I guess.
Yeah, I think she does. Well, she does live in Europe, so, anything goes there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Bobbi, we had an amazing 2024. I want to give a special shout out to Full Compass. Full Compass is going to, graciously sponsor the podcast coming up in 2025, and we could not be more grateful. And they have turned into an amazing partner. And folks, if you are looking for VO gear, any kind of audio equipment, you do yourself a favor and check them out. They're a family-run company, and they're just solid as a rock on customer service, and you will not be disappointed.
And a little bird told me that they may be popping up at a big conference again.
Yeah, and they will have... If they do, they will have specials and different things for you to check out. So, yeah, that's waiting to be finalized, but we can almost just say, yeah, it's going to happen. So that'll be a lot of fun. Bobbi, thank you for a wonderful 2024. You are an amazing partner, and I love doing this with you. I love doing with you every single time, and it could not be more of a pleasure.
Well, I call you my work husband for a reason. I know we found out early on that we just get along and we have similar backgrounds, but this year has been so much fun. And again, I am grateful for having you as a client, but more importantly, a friend.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, unless you want to talk more about me, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
No, Dion, just get to the credits.
It's been a great 2024, Bobbi. And what do you say? Let's do it again in 2025.
Let's do it bigger and better. We have to come up with 52 subjects, Cav. We're
I know,
busy.
but I think we got it. I think we can do this. We got it. We work best under pressure, and the pressure's always on.
This is true.
The Making Waves VO podcast, as always, presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Talk to you next year, Bobbi.
Okay. I hate when people do this. See you next year.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.